Welcome to Shujin Academy VGM Club. I'm Professor Tom, your faculty sponsor.
Ridge Racer! All right, everyone. 1 minute to go. Are you ready? The engines sound like they're ready to go. Are you all set?
Today's opening track is Welcome Racer from the arcade version of Ridge Racer, composed by Shinji Hosoe. I've been thinking about buying a new car, and a few weeks ago I test drove a Subaru WRX. I didn't end up buying it, because it doesn't quite fit into my suburban dad lifestyle, but driving it was fun as hell. I think it inspired in me a need for speed, because this is going to be the third time in the past 5 episodes that I'm playing a whole show of music from driving games. Unlike the 2 Add 3 Mana episodes I did, this one's a bit more of a grab bag. I like racing game music, and sometimes I like racing games, especially arcade-style racers, but I'm absolutely terrible at them. On some level, I've always wanted to get a full-blown cockpit racing rig and learn the intricacies of racers in the same way as I spent several years learning fighting games, but that's just never quite happened. And as an aside, I have 2 or 3 Xbox 360 fight sticks that I'll sell cheap, so if you want a fight stick for your PC or 360, hit me up on social media and we'll work out a deal. We're going to kick off our first segment with Moon Over the Castle from the original Gran Turismo for the PlayStation, composed by Masahiro Andoh. This song is a banger that moves from majestic orchestral sounds into rock guitar, and it's become the theme of the whole Gran Turismo series. After that, it'll be Feel the Beat from OutRun 2019 for the Sega Genesis, composed by Shigeki Sako. When OutRun 2019 was released in 1993, 2019 was well into the future, but sadly the game's prediction of rocket-powered cars was not especially prescient. This soundtrack is fantastic though, so I'm going to play another song from it later in the show. For our third song, it'll be Circuit Theme A from Unser Jr. Turbo Racing for the NES, a game with a terrific soundtrack. The credits for this game list 4 composers for sound, and their names are Shoujo Sakai, Takafumi Miura, Masaaki Iwasaki, and Yuji Suzuki. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Shoujo Sakai track, although it's impossible to know for sure, and my prejudice might be showing. While Unser Jr. was an IndyCar racer, the game was originally released in Japan under the title of World Grand Prix and is actually based on Formula 1 racing and not IndyCar racing, although nobody seemed to notice at the time. Anyway, don't sleep on this soundtrack, y'all, because it is amazing. Song number 4 is Deathwind from F-Zero for the SNES, composed by Yumiko Kanki. I love the militant snare and frantic bass on this song, and I really like F-Zero. Like everybody else, I want Nintendo to bring it back and get another entry in this long-dormant franchise. And finally, we're going back to the OutRun franchise with Shining Wind from OutRun 3D for the Sega Master System, composed by Chikako Kamatani. If you've got your Sega Scope 3D glasses, OutRun 3D can be played in 3D, although it's actually a sequel of sorts to the original game and not a port. The courses were different and most of the soundtrack is also different. This is also the version of the track for the FM audio add-on for the Master System and not the Master System's base sound chip. Alright, the green flag is out. Go! Those songs were Moon Over the Castle from Gran Turismo, Feel the Beat from OutRun 2019, Circuit Theme A from Unser Jr. Turbo Racing, Deathwind from F-Zero, and finally, Shining Wind FM version from OutRun 3D. Checkpoint, our time has been extended, and we're going to take another lap with some more great tracks. Lap 2 starts off with Space Ninja from Lotus 3 for the Amiga, composed by Patrick Phelan. You might be saying, Professor Tom, didn't you play a bunch of Lotus songs just a few episodes ago? Well, yes I did. But I didn't play this one because I was saving it for this exact episode because I wanted it to make friends and frolic with the other racing game songs. We'll head into the first turn with Like the Wind, B-Course, from the original arcade version of Sega Classic Power Drift. Power Drift was a Sega Superscaler-style arcade racer, but its board was quite advanced, allowing for wide camera swings, lots of hilly terrain, and even jumps. Check out a long play on YouTube sometime. It's incredibly impressive for a 2D game. Also, Power Drift's a go-kart racer with very expressive characters and even some wacky bits where your kart could turn into the bike from Super Hang-On or the jet from Afterburner. I suspect it was a big influence on Super Mario Kart. After that, we'll power into the straightaway with BGM from Enduro Racer, a dirt bike racing game from Sega that was released after Hang-On became a big hit. Just like Hang-On, Enduro Racer had a cabinet where you sat in a motorcycle chassis and used handlebars to steer and accelerate, but Enduro Racer is the superior game because Enduro Racer lets you do wheelies. Both Power Drift and Enduro Racer were designed by Sega auteur Yu Suzuki, and both games were composed by Hiroshi Kawaguchi, and if that team sounds familiar, it's because they also collaborated to do the design and music for racing classic OutRun. Wait, we're in a race. I don't have time to pontificate. So for the last track in this segment, we'll hear the drum and bassy Haze in Daylight from Ace Driver Victory Lap, composed by Keiichi Okabe. The Ace Driver series was a Namco franchise about Formula One racing, done in early Polygon style, sort of an open-wheeled cousin to the Ridge Racer games. Alright, we're finished with our pit stop. Go, 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 go! Those tracks were Space Ninja from Lotus 3, Like the Wind, B-Course from Power Drift, BGM from Enduro Racer, and Haze in Daylight from Ace Driver Victory Lap. And now for a word from our sponsor. Professor Tom here, and I'm excited to announce my new partnership with digital collectibles marketplace Ajar Lake. We've teamed up together to use Ajar Lake's cutting-edge not scam blockchain to create a new line of unique Professor Tom NFTs. These are all algorithmically generated AI art pieces, ripping off classic video game artists like fighting game legend Shinkiro, box art creator Mick McGinty, and of course Final Fantasy concept artist Yoshitaka Amano. Any one of them can be yours forever on the new Not Scam blockchain for the low price of $499. These hot collectibles are guaranteed to change in value, so invest in them today. Now, back to the show. For our last lap around the track, we'll head into the first turn with Steal Into the Night from OutRun 2019, composed once again by Shigeki Sako. I really like this soundtrack, and I feel like it's one of those gems that's been overlooked by a lot of people, probably because it's from an OutRun game, and so it sits in the towering shadow of the first game's soundtrack. Going into the hairpin, we've got Impatience from Super Monaco GP for the Genesis, composed by Tokuhiko Uwabo. If you're like me, and Uwabo's name sounds familiar, it may be because he's a pretty old-school Sega composer who did a ton of soundtracks for the Master System and Genesis, including Phantasy Star 1 and 2, and also the classic Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf. Shifting back up into 6th gear, we've got Race 2 Bleeding Fingers from Horizon Chase Turbo, composed by Barry Leach. Mr. Leach was tapped for the Horizon Chase series soundtracks because the developers were creating games inspired by the Top Gear series, and if you're gonna have a spiritual successor to Top Gear, I don't think you can get a better composer than the guy who literally composed the first game. Coming down the home stretch toward the end of the race, it'll be Winning Run from the arcade version of Super Hang-On, composed by Keiichi Namiki. Just like the original Hang-On and the previously mentioned Enduro Racer, the deluxe cabinet for Super Hang-On was styled like a motorcycle, and it actually had a monitor that was set lower down than you'd normally see in an arcade cabinet to get players into the stance used by Grand Prix motorcyclists. And we won the checkered flag! We'll take a hard-earned victory lap with Victory from Rage Racer on the PlayStation, composed by Hiroshi Okubo and Tetsukazu Nakanishi.
with a real rage racer.
Those tracks were Steal Into the Night from OutRun 2019, Impatience from Super Monaco GP, Race 2 Bleeding Fingers from Horizon Chase Turbo, Winning Race from Super Hang-On, and Victory from Rage Racer. Now that we're covered in champagne, that's the show. If you want to reach me, you can find me on Threads, Tumblr, or Instagram as Shujin Academy VGM Club. I'm also on Mastodon at Shujin Academy VGM Club at mastodon.coffee, and my username on Discord is Professor Tom. All the episodes of the show are posted on my YouTube channel, which you can find by searching for Shujin Academy VGM Club. You can email me at shujinacademyvgmclub@gmail.com. All my links to everything are available on my Linktree at linktr.ee/Shujin Academy. Please leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're finding this episode. Look for new episodes on Thursdays whenever I get them done, which is typically once or twice a month. Special thanks for this episode goes out to fellow VGM podcaster Jameson of Bar Silence Podcast for contributing cover art. You can and should find Bar Silence wherever you download podcasts, and check out his website at barsilence.com. I've got one more song to play us out. I'm going to end the show with Supersonic Racing from Sonic R for the Saturn, composed by the legendary Richard Jacques. Thanks for listening. I'm Professor Tom, and I'll see you next time on Shujin Academy VGM Club.
you know